Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Friday, the 20th of January. McShane has us reading Matthew chapter 20, and there are two stories that caught my eye. The one we have the mother of Zebedee's sons, that would be James and John, comes to Jesus and asks him for a favor. And he says to her, "What is it you want?" And she replies, "Grant that one of these two sons may sit at your right-hand side and the other at your left in your kingdom." And Jesus says to her, "You don't know what you're asking for, and ultimately that's for God to decide, not me." And then the other disciples were upset. I suspect they also wanted those positions. So Jesus tells them, if you're going to be a leader, you've got to be a servant. But then Matthew continues, and we're told in verse 29, as Jesus and his disciples were leaving Jericho, a large crowd followed him. Two blind men were sitting by the roadside, and when they heard that Jesus was going by, they shouted, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." And Jesus calls them, and they come to him, and he says to them, "What do you want me to do for you?" "Lord," they answered, "we want our sight." And he gives them their sight. And it suddenly struck me today for the first time that you have the story of the two sons wanting a position of power and two blind people being given their sight. And I wonder if in Matthew's construction of the gospel, he juxtaposed those two stories to highlight the fact that the sons of Zebedee and their mother were blind. They didn't see what it was that they were chasing. They did not understand, and they asked for the wrong thing. And it's very easy, well, certainly for me, to point fingers at them and think, "Oh, well, those foolish people." But I would have done exactly the same thing. And it got me to think, how many of my prayer requests and the things I come to Jesus with, which make sense to me, and I think it's a right thing, and it's a good thing, and it's appropriate, and it's part of God's kingdom plan. Must be. That's why I have the idea. But I'm as blind as the two men sitting by the side of the road. I'm as blind as James and John and their mother. And it made me think, as we come to Jesus in prayer, we've really got to come and say, "Lord, help us to see." I recognize that I'm blind, and so much of what I want and desire and pursue is of my own making and my own agenda and my own priorities. And that is all still part of my fallen nature. Lord, remake me. Help me to see clearly. Help me to see with your perspective. Give me sight so that what I pray for and what I pursue and what I ask for will be in accordance with your will and be part of your kingdom. And for me, that was a challenge and an encouragement. I pray it is for you too.